Alright, hello there, and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we're going to be doing our first community matches of Imperial Civil War 2.3. It strikes me right now that I didn't change the kicking message, which I'd been talking about forever. But if you do get a message saying you've been kicked, unfortunately it means the game is full, you're not actually being kicked. Also, Joshua Clifford is saying, I swear my EW multiplayer is broken, I can't join anyone's game whatsoever. I can't join anyone's game whatsoever. Okay. My game always says version mismatch. So the reason you're getting that is because you are not running the same mod as whatever game you're looking at. There's nothing wrong with your Empire at War multiplayer. It's just it doesn't separate the game. It doesn't separate mods into different lobbies. So, but the way this works is I'm going to host. We'll probably play 4 games tonight, and if you are trying to get in right now and you're getting the kick message, it is because the game is full. But we're gonna play hopefully 4 games. Anyone is free to join as long as their slots open. It is first come first serve, and this is in addition to being a good way for us to have matches to make sure that people can get into multiplayer matches, because there's such a small player base for the game and for multiplayer in particular. Hopefully weekly or every other week way to have those matches for people and get balancing feedback for us. In particular, I'm going to be looking at a lot of the accuracy tier stuff, because there are some places where it worked really well, some places where they are a bit too off. But we are going to do a 2v2 right now. I'm going to stay as the CSA and go against the New Republic. We are not going to spam Gozantes because they are OP right now. May try 1 or 2, but I'm going to say tonight, refrain from spamming Gozantes. I guess we will start. And I'm going to start with 2v2 because who knows how stable the game will be. A lot of the times, trying to do these games can be a crapshoot of how much EAW wants to participate in any given, or cooperate, not participate, at any given moment. So hopefully it'll go smoothly.
Course set. Instructions
Station ready.
Alright, let's get a... I guess I'll go ahead here. Exodus changed a lot of the tech level stuff for skirmish for this build, so we'll see how that works. A lot of it was to sort of smooth out the tech levels and balance between the factions in that way.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Ion engines primed.
For this map in particular, it used to be 3 mines on each side and 2 mines in the middle. A lot of the skirmish maps have had some sort of mine reduction because they used to be too many mines for the number of players that they were designed for. So Genius Bar, the reason that this version is currently only for Steam is because the Steam version has patches that the other versions of the game do not have. In order to release the other versions of the game, we have to strip out a bunch of content. Like last time it was just VOs and map previews. This time it'll be VOs, map previews, and potentially something else depending on how much it takes for the game to start cooperating. There's also some Galactic Conquests that we might not be able to use in the non-Steam versions, like Empire's End, because of, again, game limitations. So rather than trying to, for every patch, strip out everything and re-upload a new version, we like to take about a month to get the initial feedback, implement whatever changes we feel like we need to, and then upload to mod database if we're able to still support the next version, which is never a given. We'll do it for as long as we're able to, but at some point it will not be possible to support the other versions.
Constructing unit.
TIE squadron here.
Sir,
Is there any way to get mods or change the? Yeah, so you can have mods for the disc versions. It's just they're not. The disc versions are less stable. The disc version and the GOG version are less stable, so it's not possible to do everything that we can do with the Steam version.
For another run.
Yeah, the Steam version does go on sale pretty frequently, and as recently as during the Steam sale, the summer sale. Well, Empire at War in general has plenty of issues, but the Steam version, especially like for saving, is actually able to save in mods. Even though it does take a while, which people don't like, but there's no way around that really. The caching had to be changed because if you went over certain memory limits, the game would crash instead of cache. Certain memory limits while saving, so you wouldn't be able to use your save games.
Holding fire for maximum effect.
Intercepting.
Like 2.2 is still available for the non-Steam versions. We'll do what we can over the next like month or so. The main thing we are going to be working on is
Constructing unit.
is the accuracy stuff, and there's some new models and skins that we're going to be pushing out with over the next couple of weeks as well. That kind of thing, when we redo models and skins, that's going to be pushed out pretty much immediately to whatever versions we can, or just to Steam, because we can't just give people the files for the mod database one. They'd have to learn how to install patches, which always goes poorly.
Unit in production. Excellent shot.
Scare other Citadel Cruiser Squadron. So the Gozantis,
Ties reporting in.
I did do some nerfs at the end of beta. They don't seem to be wrecking stuff quite as much as they were, but I think there's still some parts of them that need to be
Your reinforcements.
looked at. Get a recusant down here.
I have them now. At your command. I got one.
Unit in
Or
production.
not. So even with the mine reduction, this map, we're getting a lot of money. But we also have every mine except for the 2 by their base.
Direct fire at their laser cannons.
I'm thinking it would also benefit from having just 1 by the base and
Go after them. I'm on. Choose your reinforcements.
others moved. But why does the game reveal the whole map sometimes without any reason? I think it might be the recusant having
My sights.
its GC
At their laser cannons.
Fog of War reveal, which we'll have to check. I don't think it does, but it might have shown up before I moved in the recusant. But the
Target those
the other thing is if it's just such a skew in the total forces on the map,
Choose your reinforcements.
then it'll reveal because it sees it as hopeless basically for one side or the other.
direct fire at their laser cannons.
Receiving message.
Heroes are another potential source of that, yeah.
In production.
Awaiting orders.
Unit cancelled. Decoding transmission.
Vehicle in
Constructing
production.
unit. Captain here.
Between the first game and the second, I'll probably
Nowhere to run.
get some music playing too. Can I explain the whole cruel AI thing? Okay, so there's 3 difficulty levels in Empire at War. We can't technically add new ones, but we wanted a little bit more difference in difficulty for the mod. So
Constructing unit.
in order to do that, we put in new modifiers that are basically on a different AI type. So if you press the button, it'll turn on extra credits and faster build times for the AI. When you're playing on normal medium, or normal, it is pretty much on par with the player. So there's, I think, a 1.1, so a 10% credit bonus, a small build time bonus as well
Unit in
for the AI. On easy, they build slower than you and they get fewer credits than you. And
For command, sir.
Cruel AI bumps those modifiers up, so it's like 4 times as many credits. It's basically to allow the AI to build whatever they want, if you want that much of a challenge.
TIE squadron here.
Beginning construction. Reinforcements en route.
Orbital command available.
So we'll get a Dauntless, we'll get VSDs.
Production.
VSD 2.
Unit in production.
Yeah, so it's whoever shows up first in the lobbies gets in. I do try to get people to, if there's more than 30 people watching the stream, then I do it where if you're in one game, then I'll ask people to sit out for the next, so that we can get as many people through as possible. If the game crashes before it's been a reasonable amount of time, then I don't hold people to that. Okay, so it looks like that hero was getting Galactic Conquest values. And that's why it was getting revealed. So that'll be something to check.
Enemies in range. Yes, sir.
And we do intend to do as many pot fixes for the mod as possible. Crap. So that happens with the AW sometimes. That was pretty close to being entirely over, so... I will put on music. So I will ask the people who are in that game to please sit out for this one. And I'll do another 2v2 because if it's not going to cooperate as much, then I'd rather keep it smaller and more stable. But I'll turn on some music. Might be loud for a second. Nope, never mind, it's muted. There we go. Galactic Conquest, whenever I've taken the entire map, it says that in fact you still have one planet, but they don't. Because in 2.2, which is the version you'd have with non-Steam versions, we had to put extra planets on the map for the main factions, Empire, New Republic, and Empire of the Hand, in order to take any overflow hero spawns after the faction had been otherwise destroyed. Because the alternative to that was the game crashing on air change, which nobody wants. There's no password, it's anyone is able to get in. Let's go to Frozen Wastes, maybe? Yeah. And this time I'm gonna I'll do New Republic. Or, actually I'll do Empire. If Tarkin wants to switch to Empire, then we can stay with this team setup. Thank you. I usually try to only do one game per faction, and within that, like I used to do an Empire faction or the Empire and then a Warlord faction, but with 2.2 or 2.3 rather, I'm probably gonna keep it as like Empire, New Republic, or New Republic, CSA, Empire of the Hand, and then an Imperial faction to get as much different stuff in here as possible. Yeah, I didn't think Tarkin would object to that.
TIE interceptor here. Interceptor squad reporting. Orders, sir.
And I do try to ask that the people who are participating in community games,
Ready for command,
please make
sir.
sure that you have a computer that, like, if you lag in single player, then you're gonna lag a lot more in multiplayer, and it's gonna be unstable. So at least some sort of minimum system requirements are
Beginning
Squad
construction.
probably necessary.
ready for battle. Engines activated. Location plotted.
Hey, Sebastian.
Ion engines primed.
Station ready.
Unit in production.
Roger that. Deploying squadron. Right away.
Beginning
Form up.
construction.
Moving out.
Escort carrier standing by. Construction complete. Beginning construction. Maneuvering.
No. Tommy, it could be that you have other files installed in, or other files interfering in your base game. So if you verify the integrity of your game files, that should reset everything to default. If that fails, then you might have to delete your data folder for Forces of Corruption and then verify game files, because when you verify game files, it doesn't delete anything that shouldn't be there. It just reacquires files to their original position.
Vehicle in
Pursuing enemy
production.
forces.
Carrot commander here.
Taking reporting. Orders, sir. I copy.
Bomber standing
Engaging the
by.
enemy.
Lots of frigate reporting.
If you don't have a scroll wheel, there's not really an easy way to rotate the camera.
Heading out. Location set.
Because you can do both mouse buttons rotate, but you still need to be able to click both buttons and rotate, like, and track with your mouse, which is fairly difficult without a scroll
Yes,
wheel.
sir. Yes, Commander.
Okay,
Constructing.
we'll see if we can hold down the middle,
Command.
and I'll see if I can get some help up for our buddies up there. Arkin requires assistance.
Building started.
Watch for enemy ships. Ready. Commencing attack run.
Lancer,
Cruiser online.
I'm pretty sure Republic of War is still being developed.
Reinforcements.
Navigating.
Anakin was on the channel a while ago where I did an interview and took a look at some of what he was working on. So,
Receiving message.
unless
Construction
something significant has changed, I'm pretty sure it's still being made.
Constructing unit.
Cruiser here.
Go after them.
Bomber squadron reporting.
Construction complete.
Reporting in.
He won't be around
Holding
much
fire
longer.
for maximum effect. Ready for orders.
Losing
Upgrade in progress. Choose your reinforcements.
Oh no.
Interceptor here. Coordinates received.
Cruiser
Alright.
online.
I'm hit.
We've held off that side at
Encoding
least.
transmission.
Vehicle in
targeted.
production.
Space station damaged.
I'm on this one.
Yes, Commander. Let's go.
What kind of PC do I use for game? So I built this computer with a fairly high budget, well, Canadian money, so I don't know.
Carrier standing by. What are your orders?
Because it's for work basically. So I can probably post my PC part picker build somewhere, but like I picked basically the best CPU I could for Empire at War within a reasonable-ish price range at the time, where Empire at War benefits from having a lot of strength within individual cores, but having more cores doesn't matter. You're better off with a like 4.0 gigahertz quad core than you are with a 3.6 gigahertz octa core. So that's basically where I focused on. So I got an i7 7700K. And like other people's priorities are probably not the same as mine with that. So unless you're specifically looking for something that'll be decent for Empire, or really good for Empire at War, then you might be better off doing other stuff. You think you have a lot of Jedi when Fall of the Republic mod is released, or just the main one? So we have the Jedi that you see in the preview playthrough that I'm doing right now are going to be the ones that are in at release. Then there's some other Jedi heroes that are options for later.
Station is under attack.
Dreadnought cruiser ready.
Targeting at maximum firepower.
Ready.
Constructing unit. Vehicle.
Get some VSDs.
Interceptor squad reporting.
Maybe we can take out their mines, because I don't know that we're going to be able to
Orders, sir.
hold off against what's there.
Choose your reinforcements.
Losing control.
I copy.
Draw their fire.
Captain here.
Attack formation. Regroup. Go after the stragglers.
Classic 2.2 BAC spam.
Roger that.
Alright.
Fire for maximum
Mines.
to attack. Targeting at maximum firepower.
Choose your reinforcements.
Navigating to coordinates.
Priority 1 is holding the sides.
Available.
Returning to your position.
Vehicle in production.
Cruiser reporting. Launching attack.
I'll take care of this. Unable to shake them.
Attack position.
He's about to be destroyed.
Got a lot of fighters here. I might need some
Vehicle in production.
Lancers.
Choose your reinforcements.
On target.
Flank speed. Ion cannons are our primary target.
Narrowing position. Tightening up.
We actually, the way we picked the last 3 Jedi heroes in the mod
Batteries on.
for Fall of the Republic was we actually put up a poll. Kakruk and pretty much every named Jedi that received any amount of screen time anywhere was included on the poll. And the ones that won were fairly obvious choices. I think Ayla Secura was and Shaq T were the only ones who I probably weren't shoo-ins, but it is something that we'll probably do again when we have all the ones that we currently have planned in, where there's some that we're definitely including for story reasons, and then with some other slots we have a lot more choice just because it's there's more available options than we actually need.
Choose your
Alright,
reinforcements.
Lancers.
Unit in
Our launch
production.
bay has been destroyed. Direct fire on those torpedo tubes. Ready for battle. All fire on those ion cannons.
Target critical.
Cover me now. The torpedo launcher has been destroyed. Target those lasers.
Location confirmed.
Our primary engine system is down.
Form up. Taking fire.
Squadron standing by.
Commander, they're hitting us. Decoding transmission.
Right, it looks like we are getting tech level 4 already. I'm gonna get another acclimator.
Production.
Bring it here.
Choose your reinforcements.
The launch bay is gone.
Falling out of formation.
Fall out.
He's about to be destroyed. I'm on this.
Yeah, the MC-80s are there. I'm gonna get more VSDs for
Ready for duty.
that probably.
He's headed your direction.
Right now, ISDs are a bit weak because of the accuracy being
Position.
uh,
Take care of this.
a bit too bad for them.
Ready.
That's something I'm actually going to be working on tonight, most likely.
Roger that.
Getting a hotfix out for that.
Roger that.
Will there be special trigger missions like in Fall of the Republic? Did you see? So yeah, that's something that we're including in both ICW and Fall of the Republic. In ICW, obviously, it's more based on the air changes stuff right now, but in Fall of the Republic, it's a lot less complicated to get a lot of that set up because there's only the 2 factions, and there'll be a lot of them,
Primary target.
or a lot more of them
Form up.
sooner.
Waiting orders. Copy.
Cruiser online.
Hypervelocity cannon firing.
Confirm. I copy.
I copy. Reporting.
Alright,
Construction.
Attack formation.
here we go.
Yes, sir.
I copy. Holding fire for maximum effect.
The lasers are our target.
Reporting.
Let's
We've got the sides relatively secure. We've got
Stragglers.
Unit in production.
Regroup.
our production down.
They're coming in
Even if, well, I mean, this side isn't secure, obviously, but we're not about to lose it. In the center, they don't have anything built just yet.
Ready. Acquiring target.
Watch your back. Construction complete.
Engaging the enemy. Intercepting.
Regroup. Station ready.
He won't be around much longer.
I guess I got a VSD1.
In production.
I'm on this one.
Yes, Commander.
Under
Our
control.
launch bay has been destroyed.
They've destroyed our torpedo launcher. Locking on.
I'm hit. Returning to your position. Target critical.
Enemies in range.
We're
They
being
took out our
targeted.
lasers.
Alright, with the help of the ISD, I think that'll be good.
Ready.
I'm just gonna go up there with this VSD because it's just a quad turbo laser and the shields. It's gonna take up pop cap that I need for other stuff.
We've lost our launch
Star
bay.
Destroyer reporting in.
TIE
Our
interceptor
engines are
here.
gone, sir.
Where are the others? I'll take care of this.
I could just block them off from having
Moving to coordinates.
any mines by focusing on the middle a bit more.
Destroyed our ion
Interceptor
cannons.
But I wanna keep that stuff here.
We've lost our turbo lasers. Star Destroyer standing by.
I got him.
Engaging the enemy.
Ready for battle.
Star Destroyer reporting in. We've got them on scopes. Cruiser reporting.
Choose your reinforcements.
Pursuing enemy forces.
We're on our way. Moving to coordinates. Order confirmed.
Taking them out.
Follow the Republic based on Legends. So it's based on Legends, but a lot of people seem to think that means that Clone Wars isn't included.
Launch bay has been
But the Clone Wars is in both Legends and canon, so it
Narrowing
does include both of those.
Gunship reporting.
the enemy. Target locked.
Yes, Commander.
Tightening up.
Attack.
eliminating target. Reporting.
I'm on this one.
Hypervelocity gun available.
At your command.
Alright.
The torpedo launcher has been destroyed.
Hypervelocity cannon firing. Unit in
Get another one of
production.
those.
Ready for command, sir.
Batteries online.
You're gonna take out their mines.
Weapons ready. Flank speed. Coming about. Yes, sir.
Under control.
Attack. Awaiting orders. Take out the iron cannons.
I got it. Receiving message.
What do we got? We'll get another VSD1.
Production.
At your command.
He's coming over.
Primary engine system is down.
Nowhere to Squadron standing by. Returning to your position.
Ready for battle. Destination confirmed.
I'll take care of this.
Awaiting your orders.
Target the lasers.
Let's finish him.
Reporting in.
Ready for battle. Roger that.
The launch bay is gone. Awaiting your command.
Getting along. Closing on target.
Our
Intercepting.
primary engine system is down. Your command, sir. Our target priority is the laser
Forces.
Ready for duty.
Watch for enemy ships.
Or VSD.
Switch position.
VS dead now.
Much longer. Taking them out. Form up.
Our turbo laser batteries have been disabled.
Go after them.
Form up. Commander.
Unable to shake them.
I've got him. Star Destroyer
Choose your
reporting in.
reinforcements.
Okay, you're gonna keep going in there.
Target
Our
critical.
primary engine system
Even
is
if you
down.
start getting shot.
We're being targeted. Squad, move in. Taking fire. I've been hit.
They're coming in quick.
Oh. Thanks, EAW. Alright, that one went on for a good while, so I will say for this one, still, that if you were in the last game, we'll try to get new people in. Okay. I guess I'll go to Empire of the Hand for this one. And let's do Solar Flare.
Ready for action.
Constructing unit.
TIE Squadron here. Course set.
Oh, fuck. This map
TIEs reporting in.
still needs to be changed so that it's not 4 mines in the back corner, because that is far more than you get anywhere else on the map.
Sir.
Station ready.
Ormos class carrier here, Admiral.
There we go.
Constructing. Building under construction.
TIE Squadron is standing by.
Orbital command available.
Choose your reinforcements.
Ready for battle.
At your command.
Constructing unit. Unit cancelled.
Constructing unit.
Roger that. Asteroids ahead.
Alright, new plan.
Evasive maneuvers. TIE Squadron here.
Construction
This
complete.
is almost ready. There we go.
Upgrade
Receiving
in
message.
TIE
progress.
Squadron here. TIE Squadron
Decoding
here.
transmission.
Vehicle in production.
Warm up. Engines activated.
Reinforcements en route. Reinforcements en route.
to that
Awaiting orders. Location plotted. Copy. Ion engines primed.
Yes, Commander. Awaiting
My copy. Deploying squadron.
Choose
Alright.
your reinforcements.
TIE Squadron
Upgrade.
here.
Operation Kill All Your Mines.
Right away.
Underway.
Out. Heading out. For the Empire.
Operation Protect Our Mines needs to be underway.
TIE Squadron here. I've got them in my sights.
Vehicle in production.
Yes, sir. Coming back around for
Yes,
another.
Commander. Reporting in.
Commencing attack run. Attack formation. Yes, Commander. Fall out.
Getting a lock.
Reinforcements en route.
Cruiser reporting. Navigating to coordinates.
Stragglers. Regroup for another attack. Victim. Changing course to intercept.
Station ready.
Vehicle in production.
Reinforcements en route.
Ready.
Yeah.
Reinforcements en route.
No point in fighting over the 2 mines on the map if there's 4 behind your base.
Acquiring target. Advancing on target.
Journey.
The end of the game should also be a bit less of a slog because we've reduced the health of the
Choose your reinforcements.
super stations.
Target locked.
Reinforcements cancelled.
Moving to those
Orbital command
coordinates.
available.
Tech upgrade in progress.
Vehicle in production. Journey class frigate here.
Coming around.
Blocking
There we go.
trajectory.
Orders, sir. Attack. Ready for command, sir. Back around for another.
Getting a lock.
Ormos class carrier
Navigating
here,
to
Admiral.
coordinates.
TIE Squadron standing by.
Launching attack.
Probably won't be able to dent the station too much just yet.
Constructing unit.
We'll give it a shot.
Taking fire.
We do have our heroes.
Stay in
Constructing unit.
formation.
Unit cancelled.
Locking
Unit
on.
cancelled.
We get two of them.
Production.
Target locked.
Ready for battle.
And I'll get Thrawn.
Fire.
Flank speed.
Yes, Commander. Awaiting orders.
Roger that.
Get behind them. Eliminating target.
Attack it.
I have them now.
I'm on them. Excellent shot.
Tech upgrade complete.
Open fire.
Coming around.
I've got them in my sights.
Alright, let's get Thrawn queued up.
Commander, they're hitting us. Where'd he go?
Ion cannon firing.
Awaiting orders.
Nowhere to run.
Just pass on their fighters.
System is down.
Are the Quasars spawning double fighters?
Reinforcements.
Falling out.
Because they should have, I think, 4. And I'm not sure if they're spawning 8 there.
Get behind them.
Hey, Joseph. How's it going?
I have them now.
I got one.
Reinforcements en
message.
route.
Awaiting your orders.
Coming around.
Decoding transmission.
Locking on.
I've got them in my sights.
Nebulon B frigate here.
Attack that target.
Choose your reinforcements.
Enemies in range.
Squadron reporting. Standing by.
For another run.
Ready for orders.
Formation.
Target locked. Eliminating target. Getting a lock. Intercepting.
Journey class frigate here.
Stay in formation. Get behind them.
Holding for maximum fire.
Alright, hopefully we'll be able to keep the advantage.
Station ready.
After that, I'm gonna get a couple more
Unit cancelled.
Go after the stragglers.
carriers and anti-fighter for our base.
Back around.
Yes, sir.
Weapons ready.
Target full. Fire at will.
Choose your reinforcements.
Target locked.
Of course.
The entry position on this map is also backwards.
Intercepting.
Excellent shot.
I'm on them. Orbital command available.
Awaiting your orders.
For another attack.
Space station damaged.
Commence
Stay in
attack.
formation.
Thrawn reporting.
I got
Of course.
Alright, turn it around, Thrawn.
Have them now.
I got
Locking
A little bit of lag there.
Journey class frigate here.
I'm on.
Destroy them.
We should be able to pop in some more carriers on our end without losing too much on this side.
Bomber standing by. Setting up my
In a second.
Your reinforcements. Reinforcements
Oh,
cancelled.
here we go.
Flank speed. Commander, they're hitting us. Bomber squadron. Manual command order. Receiving message. Nowhere to run.
Do you have something to report?
Falling out of formation.
I am ready.
Reinforcements en route.
Feel free. We have like the Discord and the Steam comments and all that are usually a bit more better for any kind of long form criticism, but if you want to share feedback here, that's fine too.
Cruiser reporting.
Decoding transmission.
Scratch one.
Choose your reinforcements.
Coming about.
What is
Reinforcements en route.
Up to you where you want to share it.
We've lost our turbo lasers.
attacking the lasers.
Ready for orders. Bombs away.
Roger 6.
Yeah, this map really needs
Attack
those those mines gone.
Journey class frigate here.
Choose your
I really don't see matches on this map going any way other than how it currently is. There's no reason to fight over anything in the middle. You get a bit of an advantage from the heroes, but that's one place, and you're better off just
reinforcements en route.
taking out the entire enemy economy instead. Hey, Kumar.
Space station ready.
Alright, so it seems like it is getting double fighters then.
Choose your reinforcements.
Good game. Frankenstein beat BP Trumbull and Hong Kong.
You have need of my skills?
Those torpedo launchers must be destroyed.
Getting a lock. Intercepted.
The template. So yeah, I am going to be there
Opening fire.
on this Saturday's stream with the Template Institute, which they're doing a charity stream for Children's Hospital. So I posted some details in the Discord. I'm going to do a community post after the stream as well to advertise it a bit. They've got a much bigger reach than me, so I don't know if there's anyone who'd be on the channel who wouldn't have heard about it already, but just in case there's anyone who hasn't seen that yet. But I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be involved there, and it's for a good cause.
Get behind them.
Got one.
I have calculated the possibilities.
Joseph, yesterday I pushed a patch which reduced the easy difficulty even more. They already had strong limits on when they could attack, what they could attack with, and their income, and I bumped that down even more. So we'll see how that went. Let's do another one here. Who I haven't played as the New Republic yet. We'll go for... I think we're going to go back to Core World, and I'll leave this open for... a 3v3. Sorry, Hong Kong, but since you were just in the last game there, I am going to have to remove you for this one. Tarek, I believe you weren't in the last game. It's just for people who were in the last game, which I believe was BP Trumbull, Hong Kong, and Frankenstein. Removing the mod won't do much for version mismatch because it's just automatically downloading the files. It's more likely from the actual base game files being different. Is the last game? Possibly. We'll just need one of the New Republics to switch to Empire. Looks like Vsauce is already on the other team. The switch. So if Brackets, Appropriate Brackets wants to switch to Team 2. There we go. I usually try to aim for about an hour and a half with these streams, so it's more than likely we're going to have one more game.
Ready for command. Calling for me, sir. We're going in. Decrease to full throttle. Decrease to full throttle.
Command available.
Unit in production.
Roger that.
At your command.
Form up. Plotting course.
Needs to set up a tier tournament. That's actually something that I want to do, especially with the new release model. We'll hopefully be able to get the rough edges of 2.3 and balance sorted out quicker than before. In which case, and I also want to figure out a workaround for the thing where you can't select the like do CSA versus Ind or something, where we'll probably have like an observer spot on every map where you can just assign the Empire to it or the New Republic or something, and then it should allow the game to start. So that's going to be something we can hopefully do, and then at that point we'll be able to start a tournament, I think. And I'd like to have some sort of actual prizes for it, but the problem with that is the way Empire at War is, it's hard to sort of police any
Unit in production.
disconnects or anything, where if someone's losing and they disconnect because they feel like they're not going to win based off the early game, there's no way for us to tell if that's a real thing versus just, like, if it's a legitimate disconnect versus a disconnect that was manually done, and then like at what point, if it does happen for real, at what point do we call it a victory or not? So there's a lot to sort of figure out there.
Decoding transmission.
The ideal situation is that everyone just participates in good faith and has fun, but especially when if a prize gets added in for that, then it's not ideal. If it's a prize like joining the testing task force in the Discord, that would be something where I don't think we'd have too many issues, hopefully. But
Choose your reinforcements.
Ready for action.
Unit in production.
then you get into laws too with any kind of material or monetary prize.
Ready for command.
Awaiting your orders. All batteries fire.
Your orders? Starting my run. I can't see him.
Your word is my command, sir.
I'm in range.
I've lost engine 2. I need help. Bombers at the ready. I can't see him.
Try not to let one on your tail.
Got one on me.
Copy of EAW Summit, a disc copy of EAW Summit the depths. We don't want people to use discs.
Choose your reinforcements.
Watch your six.
Counterproductive.
Reinforcements cancelled.
The disc would have to be shipped like around the world to get signed by all of us before it could get to anyone either.
Unit in production.
Quasar reporting for duty, sir.
Increase to full throttle. Scanner contact.
Beginning
Bombers
construction.
reporting in. Flight systems engaged.
Awaiting orders. Open fire. One on me. I'll try and draw their fire. Frigate reporting. Enemy spotted. Point one. We have them in our sights.
Roger that.
Got one.
Torpedoes armed.
Cannons armed. Scanner
Your
contact
order, sir.
behind me. You calling for me, sir? Scanner contact behind me.
Y-wing here. Weapons
Assault
charged.
frigate here.
I've been hit. I've lost engine 2.
This is starting to look like it's more in our favor, but I still want to
Roger that. Stabilizers broken loose.
make sure we're all right.
I can't see him. Command available.
Constructing unit.
Get a CR-90.
Weapons armed. Ready to engage. That's got him. Roger that.
Form up. Moving to attack position.
Especially with feedback on 2.3 being as negative as it is,
Form up.
there's a bunch I want to get sorted before getting any sort of like major event going on.
Initiating attack. Waiting order.
Or I think some of it is people just not adapting to things and like
Awaiting orders.
not understanding how different things work now. So if you're spamming just ISD2s, which do have an aim issue right now, then you're gonna think it's impossible to kill other stuff if you're just used to 2.2 where you just like spam 37 ISDs and that will kill everything. Where now you need a little bit more variation, but at the same time the turrets are less accurate against frigates and corvettes than they ought to be. It's just if you have a strike cruiser or two with it, you wouldn't have those issues. And then people complaining about like the economy, where they seem to just not be building the orbital trade ports, and then they think they're making less money because, or they think that there's less money to make because they don't have the stuff that the money was shifted towards, where now you can get your money spread across, we have more options for where to get your money from because it takes up fewer slots on the planet. But if you don't build the spaceports, then you're not going to get that money, and you're going to think, oh, I can't make any money. Like, if you look at the Steam Workshop page, it may just be that it's the same people that are just whining repeatedly, but it's like vitriolic, some people's responses.
Target those lasers.
You have a favorite fan and ship design? I don't know that there's any fan and ships that I really like. Some of Fractal Sponge's earlier stuff, well, that's unfortunate. I think having 6 people is probably too much. We'll start another game. Because this one went so early, I'm going to say it's back open to everyone. So if you were in that game, feel free to rejoin. But some of the earlier Fractal Sponge stuff, his later stuff, I feel feels a bit too samey. I'm not as big a fan of it. And some of the other fan and stuff seems to be a bit too out there in a lot of cases. Sorry, now I'm gonna have to remove you for this one. Will the Acclimator and Dreadnought and Fall of the Republic get red paint? Right now we're only going with one skin for each thing, but in the future it'll likely turn into a judicial and a fleet, like a main fleet coat for everything. So the Dreadnought right now, just the regular green or gray skin is judicial, whereas there'll be a red marking version, and then the Acclimator will have different markings than it does right now. Right now it's just sharing everything with ICW. Did the Empire of the Hand capital ship make it in 2.3? Is that coming 2.4? It'll possibly be 2.4, but the Empire of the Hand as a whole is getting a lot of reworks. And I don't really want to add it before it's ready. I don't want to push ahead with an older design that's just going to change. So what I'd like is for when Valerie starts doing the Empire of the Hand ship designs, if we started with the Antigo, which is the newer Empire of the Hand capital ship, that we'd go there, but
Unit cancelled.
Decoding transmission.
Over there.
Constructing.
Form up. We're going in. Increase to full throttle.
there were games after this one. Yes. Assuming this one is less than half an hour, then we should have one, maybe 2 more.
Order received.
Choose your reinforcements.
blaster. Moving there now, sir.
I copy. Reporting.
So actually, I have a question for you guys. Spending years and years answering everyone else's questions. Now it's my turn. Aha!
Construction.
But, so, as some of you may have noticed, in 2.3, on top of the
Yes, sir.
other changes we've made,
Ready.
I have put in the mission holocron, so like we have the in-game guides for stuff like tiers and stuff, hero tiers, and that's something where we want to move more documentation in game, make more information accessible for people, have the things like have the stuff in the Empire of the Hand descriptions that is there, like the weapon information. Oh, well, that's not good. Oh, I'm gonna rehost. Again, it'll be open to those people since it didn't last very long. So the other holocrons that I've added are stuff like mod news, where there's a tab that shows latest mod updates, and there's a tab that shows community match schedule. So my question for you guys is, A, did you notice them? So whether you think that's good to have, whether it feels intrusive, or whether you just didn't notice it at all, is basically what I want to know. This is single player. What am I doing? You know what we might do? Let's do a 2v2v2. I'm gonna go back to... You know what? I'm gonna do PA. We're gonna play on a base game map. Alright, so the general consensus with you guys seems to be that it's helpful. Like, it may be a bit of a biased sample here, but still good information to have some things. Because I figured it'd be a good way to get the word about like the community matches out there. Okay, so we can't do... We'll need to have someone be Empire, Empire of the Hand, or New Republic. Yeah, the main page could be handy as well. It's just I don't want to like overload it with information, and then you have stuff like the aspect ratio making that kind of skewed. Where I thought the holocron might feel a little bit less intrusive, and if there's a way that we can make it a little bit more prominent, or remind people to check it, then that would be good. My concern was just that it would feel kind of tacky, or like too much self-promotion, I guess, because it's hosted on my YouTube channel, and then it's like 2 or 3 references to stuff that's on the channel. But at the same time, with online games now, it's a lot more community oriented in pretty much everything, so I thought that it might be a better way to go with that.
Ready for action. TIE interceptor here. Course set.
Am I still planning on doing a Clone Wars TV show review? Yeah, so my roommate and I talk about it occasionally. It's still something I want to do.
In production.
Constructing.
I'll have to see when it works out. The thing right now is just I don't want to launch it so close to TapCaf transmissions with Ek, where it's like 2 podcasts every other week, or I kind of want to figure out a better format for it.
Choose your reinforcements.
Understood.
Ready for command, sir. TIE squadron here. Asteroids ahead. Evasive maneuvers.
Beginning
Squadron standing
construction.
by.
With the main menu, I'd rather keep it to information on like
Choose your reinforcements.
if there's a major version coming up and people need to make a backup of the game if they want to continue with a save or whatever.
Reinforcements cancelled.
In those situations, we'd probably put it on the main menu.
Building started.
Reinforcements en route.
Receiving message.
Vehicle in production.
Oh, EAW crashed? Are you in the game, Jacob?
Ready for battle. For the Empire.
Reporting.
Or was yours a crash just playing on your own?
Our space
Construction
station is
complete.
under attack.
Roger that.
Don't chase him out. Don't chase.
Construction complete.
Bad chasing.
Waiting orders.
Skip Ray reporting.
Okay. I was wondering, like, why the game hadn't crashed if... Or why the match hadn't crashed if it had crashed for other people. I was very confused for a second.
Constructing unit.
Let's get Raider. Raiders are probably my favorite Corvette.
Carrot Commander here.
I really like Raiders and Arcotans. Oh boy. Punishers.
Enemy ships.
Reporting.
IPV reporting. Location confirmed.
Upgrade in progress.
Ready for action.
Target critical.
Vehicle.
Yeah, the Uraidu Authority got the Imperial class frigate, the Vigil class Corvette, and the Victory frigate from Battlefront as well.
IPV reporting.
Which we saw one of the Victories flying by a little bit earlier. I'm not sure where it went. I was heading down this way.
Losing power.
I think it redirected.
IPV reporting. Attacking.
Is there a way to fix the issues with the game itself, like how unstable it can be at times? Not really. With multiplayer in particular,
Ready.
it's
Unit in
finicky and it's
production.
always going to be finicky, unfortunately.
Production. Choose your reinforcements.
Advancing.
The only thing we can really do about it is continue to try to not
Awaiting.
rely on any like Lewis scripts for multiplayer, because that increases the chances for desyncs, but it's...
Skip Ray blast boat here.
What are your orders? Carrot Commander here.
just kind of a fact of life.
Crews are online.
And right now, one of the things that isn't helping with that is that some ships double up their fighter complement in multiplayer,
Choose your
which means more stuff is going on than there is intended to be.
Reporting. Charged laser cannons.
Crews out.
Well, with the Warlord factions, because we do want all the factions to have like a slightly different play style or different stuff to play with,
Our target fire
we
cannons.
try to get as many ship types as we
Awaiting
can.
command.
And
What are your orders?
for the Imperials, that means because there's 5 playable Imperial factions, that we do end up going with more obscure stuff. It's not necessarily that the faction itself was building or using them. It's just that basically most Imperial units in canon could apply to any given faction.
Upgrade in progress.
So we just try to make determinations on which we think fits best where.
Target priority is the laser cannons. I got him. At your command.
Taking him out. Excellent shot.
Ready. Armed and ready.
Maybe a thing where I want to
Reporting.
concede some ground a bit.
Charged laser cannons.
Back around for another.
Attacking. Come about.
Under control. Watch him. He's
Yes,
coming
sir.
around.
Move to
Oh,
attack.
I don't know why I was thinking green was an enemy.
Enemy forces sighted.
Commencing attack run.
Intercepting.
Any major changes to MP that we're talking about? I haven't really checked. I'm just wondering if there's any. So the
Attack formation.
one of the more major changes to skirmish has been changing the tech levels from 3 to 5 and changing around where some of the
Narrowing position. Tightening up.
ships are. So like
Let's finish him.
basic anti-fighter is tech level 2 instead of tech level 3 or tech level 1 because they tended to be
Targeted.
OP in the initial phases of the game. Stuff like that, and that'll continue to be done as well, where we want to do a lot more live balancing, a lot more live updating, rather than holding out on updates for as long as we were and covering as many different changes as we were. We'd rather get some major
Your orders, sir.
things done and then get the feedback from that,
Target sighted.
and not risk breaking as much stuff as
Yes, sir.
you do if you have
Changing course to intercept.
too much changing at once.
Cover me now.
Closing on
Constructing.
target.
Ready for action.
Constructing unit.
Enemies in range. Standing by. Attack. Holding fire for maximum
Priority 1 is definitely picking up the mine.
On me. Yes, Commander. Get over here and help. Acquiring target. Under
Choose
attack.
your reinforcements.
I'm running out of maneuvers.
Station ready.
Reinforcement available.
I'm losing my engine.
Cruiser standing by.
Let's try to move some of our other stuff over. I don't want to abandon this place completely,
How about a little help?
but let's send a raider.
I'm in a tight spot.
Roger that. Direct fire on the engine.
Can anyone else see him? He's about to be destroyed. Where are you?
Commands available.
Shoot him down.
Construction complete.
I'd like to get him in next.
I can't take another hit like that. Under control. Attacking. Let's finish him. I'm on him.
Current commander here.
Watch your back. Taking fire.
You watched all the Clone Wars TV shows? So, I've seen
Intercepting.
all of the early seasons and a big chunk of the later seasons, but one of the reasons I did want to do the series is because it's something that I haven't seen everything from.
Take care of this.
But now I'm probably going to have to wait for Disney Plus, which,
On target.
even just for my job, I'm going to have to get. I hate that everyone decides they needs a streaming platform now.
Taking him out.
As much as I also hate monopolies.
Engaging the enemy.
I don't want to pay
Watch for enemy.
$90 a month for different
I'm on this one.
platforms like that.
Vehicle in production.
Form up.
Watch him. He's coming
Current
around.
commander here.
Detected.
Charge
He's
laser
headed your
cannons.
direction. Returning to your position. Ready.
The Clone Wars was removed from Netflix, which
Narrowing position.
I do have.
Tightening up. I've been hit. Engines are malfunctioning.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest problems with at least the early seasons of the show. Is like the entire Clone Wars takes place on Naboo.
Closing on
Cruiser
target.
here.
There was not an event in the Clone Wars that didn't take place on
Our
Naboo.
launch bay has been disabled.
Setting up my run, sir.
We're being targeted. Let's finish him. Squad, move in. Losing power. Losing control. Watch your back.
Choose your
My
reinforcements.
scopes are jammed.
Sir,
Where are the others? I can't switch position. Shields almost
Primary
gone.
engine system is
Gun them
down.
down.
I've got
Well, I think it's just like
Shake them
a couple shows will determine where everything goes, and then
taking fire.
like whichever
I've been hit. Engines are malfunctioning.
whichever platform currently hosts The Office will be
Been destroyed.
Watch for enemy
on top in the
targeting at maximum.
in the streaming wars.
ready to blow something up. Losing power.
Sir, I've got him.
Our lasers have been destroyed.
He won't be around much longer. Target critical. I'm hit. I got him. He's about to be destroyed.
The ion cannons are our primary target. All fire on those ion cannons. Target those lasers.
Someone cover me! Going for their lasers.
Receiving message.
I got
Constructing
fighters on me. Position. Get over here and help.
Reporting.
I'm under attack.
We've got a good handle on that.
They've got us targeted.
We'll have a precursor coming in on this side.
Can anyone else see him? Where's our cover? Where are you? Where'd he come from? Ah, I can't take another hit like that. Tightening up. Someone cover me. Losing control. I got fighters on me. This is bad. Get over here and help. I'm under attack. I'm hit. Let's finish him. They've got us targeted. We're being targeted. I can't switch position.
But remember, guys, regulations are bad,
Watch your back.
Engage thrusters.
but we can't do anything to Disney or ISPs. Right, that was like really bad. Jumped in directly and died.
For maximum effect. Falling out of formation. Loose missiles. Draw their fire.
Decoding transmission.
Attack formation.
I'm gonna get another precursor, but not jumping in as far. For some reason, I was thinking that this VSD was ours.
squad, move in. More enemy craft. Unable to shake fire. Taking fire. My scopes are jammed. Where are the others? I've been hit. Engines are malfunctioning. Shield's almost gone. Blasted scum.
I mean, if that ship wants to get away, then it's fine.
Choose your reinforcements.
Cover me now. Nowhere to go.
Standing by. Targeting at maximum firepower.
Oh, don't turn and make it harder to hit you. Aim for the stuff on the side that's not turning away from you. Or closing the arc on you. There we go.
Reinforcements available. Vehicle in production.
You know what, let's get a Venator, because we don't have many fighters down there.
Cancelled.
Loose missiles.
The Empire just has too much down here.
Full volley. Just and fire. Captain on deck. Gun crews firing in. Loose missiles.
Can we?
Star cruiser
Interceptor
here.
squad reporting. Orders, sir. Location plotted.
I think they're just going to jump in stuff on that.
Station ready.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wait up for tech level 4. We can.
Ready for command.
We need a Raidu Pentastar Alliance.
Space station under attack. Choose your reinforcements.
Squadron standing by.
We can get to that top right mine and kill it. That would be helpful.
Ready for battle. Ion engines primed.
Moving out.
Roger that.
Orbital command available.
Vehicle in production.
Form up. Deploying squadron.
Reporting in. Moving out. Heading out.
Didn't steal anything.
Bombers at the ready. Bombs away.
Copy that. Affirmative. Weapons online. Enemies in range. Star cruiser here. On our way.
Oh,
Enemies incoming. Attack. Fire. Heading for coordinates.
wow, body blocking the mine. Rude.
Heading out.
Watch for enemy
Reporting.
ships.
At once. Open fire.
Ready to receive orders.
There we go.
Command.
I'm hit. Losing
Bombs
control.
deployed. At your command.
Unit in production.
Yes, Commander. Attack that target. Standing by. Ready go.
You won't believe how the Empire won the Battle of Seleucami.
Star cruiser here.
Next datapad video.
We lost the shield generator.
IPV reporting. I've got him.
Reinforcements available.
Target locked.
AW had collision damage.
Star Cruiser standing by.
Comlink active.
Our shields are down.
When all the shitty pathfinding starts destroying your own ships.
Our lasers are down.
Attack formation. I'm losing. Go after the stragglers. Coming around. Regroup for another attack. Sir, I got it. I've got it. More enemy craft. Taking fire.
Welp. Looks like we are quite potentially dead.
Unit in production.
Target locked. Falling out of formation. Excellent shot. Draw their fire. Attack formation. Decoding transmission. I'm losing.
Unit cancelled.
Need a lot more than 20,000 right now.
To the stragglers.
They control 4 mines. We've got the 1.
Reinforcements canceled.
Confirmed. Right away.
Let's get moving. On our way.
Ready for action.
Alright, let's destroy the backbone of their military.
Primary target acquired.
This Vindicator.
Copy. Orbital command available.
Tech upgrade in process.
That poor Acclimator is not having a good day either.
At your command.
I wanted another 3-player map that's a bit better spaced out. Like, we have a couple in the mod that I don't particularly like that are quite old at this
Receiving
point.
message.
Rogue, I think Smuggler's Ring is a 3-player one.
Decoding transmission.
The Rogue has done a couple, or at least the one. I think Smuggler Ring. No, it may not be Smuggler Ring. It might be something
Right
else.
away.
But
Ready for action.
Restored Empire will never be a faction in the mod.
Sitting around.
There's no faction we'd remove for that
Station
one.
ready.
Skip Ray reporting.
Orbital command available.
Tech upgrade complete.
Alright, if we can save up enough credits,
Skip
then
Ray
maybe.
boat here. Armed and ready. Moving out.
At your command.
Weapons charged. Starting attack position.
Yeah, the Restored Empire is like one of the smaller Imperial factions. It would just be a lot like the Pentastar alignment and less territory.
Someone cover
And it would require removing another faction to do it. We don't need a 6th Imperial faction. That's why the Duskin League even got the axe, because it was, you have limited slots and it was too similar to other factions,
Locked on.
while being much smaller.
Ready for action.
Unit in production.
target.
Squad, move in. My scopes are jammed.
Station ready.
Unable to shake them. Where are the others?
Orbital command available. The launch bay is disabled.
It's a good time to get the sad music playing.
Cruiser reporting.
Choose your reinforcements.
All right, let's
Navigating to coordinates.
kill them all with this VSD.
Cruiser reporting.
Reinforcements available.
Navigating to coordinates.
Oh,
Launching
never
attack.
mind.
Attack position.
There's a World Devastator now.
Pressing the attack. At your command.
Repairing.
Receiving message. Gunship reporting.
Waiting orders.
I think what a lot of people overlook is that the World Devastator is actually better than a lot of other capital ships right now, because it has heavy weapons but not dual or quad weapons, which means that it's better against smaller ships than a lot of other large ships are. The accuracy is generally the more, like if it's an octuple, then it's going to be really inaccurate against corvettes. If it's a quad, it's going to be more inaccurate than a single. We do have a hero list done for the Hapens. We haven't said the huts will be playable,
Weapons ready.
and there's less planning gone into a hut faction. Like with any faction we add, any minor faction, there is a chance it'll become playable given enough resources. Right now it's just the Hapens that we're focusing on.
Frequency
And if
open.
we could get enough hut stuff done that it became feasible to make them playable, then that would be cool. But for the moment, that's not a stated plan.
A missile launcher has been destroyed.
Under control. Watch him. He's coming
How many
around.
factions can the game have? So, you can get 21 in, but that has to include things like the neutral faction, which is like a coding necessity, but not an actual faction.
Returning to position.
And hostile, which is used for stuff like some map stuff. So you can get to 21. If you get to 22, then the game crashes. But if you go past 16, once you have the 17th slot build, if you attack the faction in that slot, the game will often crash on battle load. So functionally, you have 16. We'd like to try to use the 17th slot for neutral, which leaves us with an extra faction slot because you're never attacking neutral, you're never initiating a battle against neutral, which seemed to be the only problem. So if we can move that around, then it would be helpful. That'll also introduce a lot of map issues that we'll have to track down, because the way map affiliation works is by, when you're using the map editor, the way affiliation works is by its place on the index. So we'll have to move neutral down to the bottom of the list, which, not great. Like Mandalorians, in the mod are currently in the 17th slot, I believe, but because they only have the one planet, it's very, very rare to have an issue with it. Or at least they were in 2.2. It might have been moved for 2.3. So it's kind of a... We gambled with that a little bit, but until we can sort out some other faction stuff, then it's necessary. We probably wouldn't have gone with as many playable Warlord factions as we did if we had known that at the time, but it's something that we only found out with like after 2.2's release. Or after we'd set up as many expectations as we had for that.
Shields are down.
But we are on our last legs here. Well, the thing is, it counts any faction, not just playable. So, well, Empire War did have just the the 3 playable factions at initial release. It also has neutral and hostile, So neutral, hostile, rebel, underworld, empire, Black Sun, and were Black Sun and Hut separate? I think they were. No, pirates and Huts. Yeah. So even Empire at War, the base game, or with Forces of Corruption, it got up to 7. Oh god, Corellian. Please no. Right, Munificent's last stand.
The ion cannons are our primary target.
Copy. Right away. Shield's almost gone.
Taking fire. Cover me now.
I'm trying to think the
Enemy ships.
on the Discord we have a channel called the Admiral's Lounge where we post some early content, and I've posted what our overall view for what the final faction allotment in ICW would be. I might even move that to the news feed. So if you want to join the Discord, if you're not in there already, that'll be some extra information you can look at, see what that kind of looks like.
Regroup. Engines are malfunctioning. Blasted scum. Nowhere to go.
I think the main problem, like where we lost, was when I went down here and we sent in ships one by one. I'm trying to keep the IS or the TIE fighter here. We can see
Location set.
these stuff. They've been building up a big force
Advancing
of
on
frigates while
target.
we've been dying.
Head to that area.
Yeah, so the link's in the description for anyone who wants to join the Discord. That's also where a lot of community events get planned, and streams and mod news and all that stuff gets announced. We do a weekly update on stuff that's been done in the mod or what's being worked on in the mod. We haven't done that for a little while because obviously the beta's been coming out, so it's just like fixing bugs that everyone already has access to. But now that the beta's done, that'll start becoming a thing again. Next community matches will be next Wednesday at 5 p.m., so a day late and an hour later.
Torpedo launcher.
And then after that one's done, I'm going to update the mod with the list for August community matches. At some point during the 20s of July, I'll update it with the August ones. I don't think we'll have community matches the week after next. But we'll see. I might end up doing an impromptu one. But there's not going to be a pre-scheduled ones. Just because I don't want to oversaturate either the channel with the AW or do too many community matches. I want to do 3 or 4 per month, but I don't want it to become a thing that just gets too stale. Because they're fun to have, and they're good feedback for the mod as well, good balanced feedback. But it's not a... I don't want to overdo it.
Losing power.
Alright, I think I'm going to end the stream there. I'm obviously going to leave the game up so that the Arido Authority and the Empire can still participate in it, but we're not going to be able to see anything going on because all of our stuff is dead. I guess I can try to move on these guys over here, but they're going to... we'll let it finish.
My scopes are jammed.
I lied. They're most of the way into the base now. It's not like 2.2 superstructures where they were unkillable. Then I'm gonna get dinner. I haven't eaten today.
Losing control. I can't switch position.
I lie in all my videos.
Gun them down.
Once we also have some more ground stuff sorted out, I'd like to start doing some ground matches in the community matches as well. Uh-oh.
Navigating. What are your orders? Roger that.
But I guess I should also say coming this week we'll have 3 new models for the mod. Bob has updated the ATST and ATAT, and I've been updating the CR90. That's all stuff you can see in the Discord as well. But yeah, so those will be going out independently. I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on in the stream, but with stuff like that, when it's redone models, there's not really anything that's going to interfere with the save in that, which is our main concern when doing updates for Steam. So that kind of thing is going to be put out pretty much as it's done. CR90 is something that's been lacking for quite some time. The ATST and ATAT are obviously vanilla assets currently, so the update really helps them as well. Unfortunately, last time when I pushed a patch, I included some changes that I didn't intend to. Stuff with some projectile changes that no one is supposed to have yet. But thanks to everyone who came out and played in today's games. Also, good game, everyone. We had a couple that go all the way through to completion. I'm surprised this one hasn't desynced yet. Even if it desyncs now, I'm not jinxing it. I'm already impressed that it didn't. I'm gonna see if I can talk to Rogue about getting a new map done for next week, using some of the low orbit props, if we can. And if I'd like to get skirmish map updates, skirmish balance updates, all that kind of stuff, being a almost weekly thing along with the community matches, where we'll be able to act on feedback and act on our own results a little bit more. But yeah. This one went a lot longer than I thought it would. So we'll have the matches Wednesday next week. We'll probably go for an hour and a half to 2 hours that week as well. I also have tomorrow an hour-long video going up in Rise of Mandalorians, so I don't want to overdo the EAW for people, or myself. Because I still need to record 2 episodes of Fall of the Republic today or tomorrow. And then there's the charity stream this Saturday, so I'm going to be doing a lot of Empire at War. But as the game winds down here, thanks again for watching, everyone, and I will hopefully see you next week. Bye, everyone.